the Enchanted, founding of Hogsmeade Village. In a time long past, when the world was wilder, and magic hummed in the bones of the earth, there lay a misty valley in the heart of medieval Scotland. The air was cool, scented with the sweet tang of heather, and the rich, damp earth, stirred by a breeze that whispered through ancient trees. Their gnarled branches reached toward a sky streaked with twilight, where the last rays of sunlight painted the clouds in hues of lavender and gold. A sparkling brook wound through the valley, its waters catching the fading light, murmuring softly as it danced over smooth pebbles. In the distance, will-o'-the-wisps flickered like tiny stars, their pale glow weaving through the mist, beckoning to those who dared to dream. Into this untouched land came the Hengist family, their cloaks heavy with dew, their steps soft on the valley's grass. At their head was Hengist of Woodcroft, a wizard of Hufflepuff heart, whose eyes held the steady glow of hope. His wand, tucked beneath his cloak, pulsed with a faint light, as if eager to shape the future. Fleeing the shadowed threat of persecution, where Muggle fears cast long nets over those with magic, Hengist sought a haven, a place where his kind could live freely, their laughter unburdened by suspicion. The valley, with its rolling hills and quiet beauty, called to him like a song, and he knew it was here that his vision would take root. Hengist stood by the brook one starry night, the air sharp with the scent of pine, his campfire crackling with warmth. The flames cast dancing shadows on his face, and his breath misted in the cool air as he raised his wand. With a whispered charm, he traced the boundaries of what would become Hogsmeade, his magic shimmering like threads of moonlight woven into the earth. The valley seemed to hum in response, its grasses swaying, its trees leaning closer as if to listen. Hengist's heart was steady, his Hufflepuff loyalty burning bright, not just to his family, but to the community he dreamed of building. A place where all could find safety and belonging. Word of Hengist's vision spread, carried on the wind like a promise. Wizards and witches, weary of hiding, came to the valley, their wands aglow with hope. Together, they wove spells that shaped the first homes, stone cottages rising from the earth, their walls sturdy and warm, their roofs charmed to turn away the rain. Windows glowed with soft light, reflecting the flickering flames of hearths within. Laughter began to echo through the valley, mingling with the brook's gentle gurgle as the community took form. Children, their eyes wide with wonder, chased charmed lanterns that bobbed like fireflies, their light painting the twilight in hues of amber and blue. At the heart of this growing village stood a gathering place, a tavern that would one day be known as the Three Broomsticks. Its origins were humble, a single room with a crackling hearth, its tables laden with mugs of butterbeer that warmed hands and hearts alike. The scent of honey and malt filled the air, blending with the earthy aroma of the valley's soil. Here, the villagers shared stories, their voices rising and falling like a melody, their laughter a testament to the safety they had found. The tavern's fire burned bright, its flames a beacon for those who sought refuge, its warmth a promise that this place was home. As the village grew, so did its enchantments. The wizards and witches gathered under the starry sky, their wands raised in unison, casting protective charms that settled over Hogsmeade like a soft, glowing blanket. The magic hummed, a gentle pulse that wove through the cobblestone paths and stone walls, ensuring that only those with magic in their blood could cross its boundaries. The mist parted to reveal a hamlet aglow with life, its lights a constellation of safety in the wild valley. The brook's song seemed to carry the enchantment, its waters sparkling brighter, its melody a lullaby for the village's dreams. Shops began to take shape, their foundations laid with spells and hope. The first seeds of zonkos were sown, a tiny stall where a wizard crafted toys that giggled and sparked, delighting children who clutched them under the moonlight. Honeyduke's earliest sweets spun from sugar and magic, filled the air with the scent of caramel and chocolate, a promise of joy in every bite. The cobblestone paths gleamed under the stars, winding through the village like threads of a tapestry, each step a reminder of the community's strength. The valley, once wild and untouched, was now alive with the hum of magic, its hills cradling a haven that would stand for centuries. Centuries later, a student wandered through Hogsmeade at dusk, their cloak brushing the cobblestones as they moved through the village. The air was cool, scented with heather, and the faint sweetness of Honeyduke's confections drifting from its open door. The Three Broomsticks glowed ahead, its windows casting golden light onto the path, its sign creaking softly in the evening breeze. The student slipped inside, drawn by the warmth of the hearth and the murmur of voices within. The tavern was alive with the clink of mugs and the distant laughter of other students, their faces softened by the firelight. The student settled by the fire, its crackle a steady rhythm, its warmth wrapping around them like a blanket. The scent of butterbeer, rich and sweet, filled the air, mingling with the faint smokiness of the burning logs. Outside, the village's lights twinkled like the will-o'-the-wisps of old, their glow a reflection of the magic that had shaped this place. The students' thoughts drifted, carried by the gentle pulse of Hogsmeade's enchantments, which seemed to hum in the walls, in the cobblestones, in the very air. They imagined Hengist standing in the valley, his wand aglow, his heart full of hope. They saw the first cottages rise, their stones settling into place with a whisper of magic. They heard the laughter of the first villagers, their voices weaving a melody that still lingered in the tavern's hearth. The fire popped, sending a shower of sparks upward, and the students' eyes grew heavy, their breath slowing. The village's history was a soothing tale, its images vivid yet soft, like a dream painted in moonlight and mist. Hogsmeade was more than a village. It was a promise kept, a haven born of one man's vision and the community that grew around it. The brook still sang beyond the tavern's walls, its melody unchanged by time. The protective charms still hummed, their magic a gentle lullaby that cradled the village in safety. The student leaned closer to the fire, its warmth a reminder of the hearth that had welcomed the first villagers, its light a reflection of the lanterns that had guided their children through the twilight. As the flames danced, the student felt the weight of the day slip away, their heart eased by the village's story. The 3 broomsticks was quiet now, save for the fire's crackle and the distant hum of laughter, a melody that seemed to rise from the valley itself. The student closed their eyes, the scent of butterbeer and wood smoke lingering. The village's magic, a gentle pulse that lulled them into a restful, dreamy state. Hogsmeade stood as it always had, its lights a constellation of hope, its history a tale whispered by the fire, carrying all who heard it into the soft embrace of sleep. The history of the Fat Friar, in the heart of a forgotten countryside, where rolling hills cradled mist in their folds, there stood a monastery of ancient stone. Its walls, cool to the touch and dappled with moss, seemed to hum with the weight of centuries. Flickering candlelight danced across the corridors, casting shadows that swayed like silent monks in prayer. The air was thick with the scent of parchment, worn and brittle, mingling with the faint spice of incense that curled upward in delicate spirals. From the chapel, The gentle hum of chanting rose, the monks' voices weaving a melody that felt like a lullaby for the soul. Beyond the stone walls, a bell tolled in the distance, its deep, resonant clang rolling through the misty fields, where dew clung to blades of grass like tiny stars. In this quiet haven lived a monk unlike any other, a man whose laughter was as warm as a hearth fire, and whose presence brought comfort to all who crossed his path. They called him the Friar, though his name had long since softened into the gentle rhythm of his deeds. His robes, a deep brown that rustled softly as he moved, seemed to carry the earth's own warmth. His round face, framed by a tonsure of graying hair, glowed with a kindness that made even the gloomiest days feel lighter. His eyes twinkled with a secret joy, as if he held a candle to some hidden truth. The villagers in the nearby hamlets loved him, for his laughter was a melody that lingered long after he passed by. The friar had not always known he was different. Born to a simple family, he had been sent to the monastery as a boy, his heart already brimming with a love for others that would later mark him as a true Hufflepuff. It was at Hogwarts in his youth where he first learned of his magic, a gift that bloomed like a flower in spring. There, in the castle's golden halls, he had been sorted into Hufflepuff, where loyalty, kindness, and a steadfast dedication to community were cherished above all. He carried those traits back to the monastery, where he returned after his schooling, his wand tucked beneath his robes, a secret kept close to his heart. In the quiet of the monastery, his magic flickered to life like the candles he so loved. Late at night, when the other monks slept, he would whisper a spell, and a candle would lift from its sconce, floating gently above the stone floor, its flame steady and bright. When a brother monk grazed his hand on a rough-hewn table, the friar would murmur a charm under his breath, and the wound would close, leaving only a faint warmth behind. He was careful, always careful, for the world beyond the monastery's walls was not kind to those who wielded such power. The Muggle clergy spoke of witchcraft with fear, their voices low and sharp, and the villagers, though grateful for the friar's help, sometimes looked at him with eyes that held both awe and unease. Yet the friar's heart remained steady. He could no more stop helping than the sun could stop rising. In the village, where thatched roofs leaned under the weight of morning dew, he moved quietly among the people. A farmer's broken plow would mend itself overnight, its wooden handle smooth and whole by dawn. A child's fever would break after the friar's visit, his hand lingering on their forehead with a warmth that felt like a blessing. The villagers called these acts miracles, and the friar let them, his smile a quiet secret tucked into the corners of his mouth. He hummed as he worked, a soft tune that seemed to blend with the crackle of the hearth in their homes, the scent of freshly baked bread rising from their ovens, the rustle of leaves outside their windows. But whispers grew in the shadowed halls of the monastery. The other monks, their faces lined with suspicion, began to watch the friar more closely. His miracles, they said, were too frequent, too precise. They spoke of unnatural powers, of deals with forces beyond God's light. The friar heard their murmurs, but did not falter. He would sit by the hearth in the monastery's great hall, the fire's glow painting his robes in shades of amber, and he would hum his tune, his heart unshaken. To him, magic was not a sin, but a gift, a way to ease the burdens of those around him. He could not turn away from that calling, no matter the cost. The cost, when it came, was gentle in its cruelty. The clergy's suspicions hardened into accusations, and one night, under a sky scattered with stars, they came for him. The friar did not resist. He stood in the monastery's courtyard, the cool air brushing his face, the scent of earth and duzu heavy around him. His wand remained hidden, untouched, for he would not harm those he had sworn to serve. His final moments were peaceful, his heart light with the knowledge that he had lived true to his purpose. The stars above seemed to wink at him, as if welcoming him to a new chapter. Death, it turned out, was not the end for the friar. His spirit, too full of warmth to fade, returned to the place where his heart had first found its home, Hogwarts. There, in the halls of the castle, he shimmered into being, a ghost with robes that billowed as if caught in an unseen breeze. His laughter echoed through the Hufflepuff common room, a sound like Ballad of Hufflepuff, a house he loved as fiercely as he had loved his monastery. His form was translucent, glowing with a soft light, like moonlight on water, and his presence was a balm to the students who crossed his path. New Hufflepuffs, nervous and wide-eyed, would find him waiting in the common room, his voice a soothing lullaby, as he welcomed them with stories of the house's warmth and loyalty. He was their guide, their comfort, his laughter a beacon in the dimly lit corridors of the castle. The Hufflepuff common room was a haven of its own. Its low ceilings and earthy tones a reflection of the house's grounded spirit. Barrels lined the walls, their wood worn smooth by generations of hands, and the air carried the faint scent of fresh-baked bread and herbs, as if the room itself remembered the friar's monastery. A fire crackled in the hearth, its flames casting a golden glow across the room, the light dancing on the tapestries that hung like silent sentinels. The friar loved this place best of all, for it was here that he could sit with students, his ghostly form hovering just above the ground, and share tales of kindness and community that lulled them into a dreamy calm. One such night, a student sat alone by the fire. The common room was quiet, save for the soft pop and hiss of the flames, which painted the walls in flickering shadows. The student, wrapped in a blanket, stared into the fire, their thoughts as scattered as the sparks that rose and vanished. The friar appeared beside them, his presence as gentle as a breeze. His robes shimmered faintly, and his voice, warm and low, began to weave a story. Long ago, he began, in a monastery far from here, there lived a man who loved nothing more than to help those around him. His heart was as wide as the fields that stretched beyond his stone walls, and his laughter was a melody that could lift even the heaviest spirit. As he spoke, the fire's warmth seemed to wrap around the student, the crackle of the logs a steady rhythm beneath his words. The scent of cedar and earth filled the air, and the friar's tale unfolded like a dream, vivid and alive. He spoke of candlelit halls, of secret spells cast under starlight, of a life spent mending and healing, of a heart that never wavered. The student's eyes grew heavy, their breath slowing, the common room's glow a soft embrace. The friar's voice was a lullaby, each word a brushstroke painting a world of moss and stone, of kindness and quiet courage. He told of the villagers, their faces lined with gratitude, their homes warmed by the friar's subtle magic. He spoke of the suspicions that grew like weeds, of the night under the stars when his time in that world ended. But his tone remained gentle, his laughter a soft echo, as he described his return to Hogwarts, where he found a new purpose among the students who carried his house's banner. The fire popped, sending a shower of sparks upward, and the student smiled, their heart eased by the tale. And so, the friar concluded, his voice a whisper now, I am here, still laughing, still guiding, for kindness does not end with breath. It lingers like the warmth of this fire, like the scent of bread in the air, like the song of a bell across the fields. The student's eyes closed, their breath even and slow, as the friar's presence faded into the glow of the firelight. The common room was still, save for the crackle of the hearth and the faint hum of a tune that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Outside, the night was vast and starry, and the monastery, far away in time and place, stood silent, its stones holding the memory of a man whose kindness had become a legend, a lullaby for all who heard his tale. How Fawkes the Phoenix found Dumbledore in the hush of a forest at dawn, where ancient trees stood like silent sentinels. The air shimmered with the promise of morning. Their leaves whispered secrets to the breeze, each rustle a soft sigh in the quiet. The ground was a carpet of moss, cool and springy underfoot, scented with the crispness of dew and the sharp tang of pine. As the first light of sunrise crept through the canopy, it painted the mist in hues of azure and rose, a delicate glow that seemed to hum with life. Somewhere in the distance, a bird's call pierced the stillness, its notes clear and fleeting, a melody woven into the forest's serene embrace. Through this tranquil scene walked a young Albus Dumbledore, not yet the headmaster of legend, but already carrying a wisdom that seemed to ripple in his wake. His robes shimmered faintly, catching the dawn's light as if woven from starlight itself. His steps were light, deliberate, his wand tucked into his sleeve, a quiet companion that pulsed with unspoken magic. His eyes, bright and searching, scanned the forest with a calm curiosity, as if he sensed that this morning held something extraordinary, a moment that would linger in the tapestry of his life. Then, from the heart of the forest, came a blaze of light. A phoenix, his feathers a cascade of crimson and gold, soaring through the mist like a living flame. This was Fawkes, a creature of myth and magic, whose very presence seemed to warm the cool air. His wings spread wide, catching the sunrise, and his song rose, a melodic lullaby that wove through the trees, soothing the forest itself. The notes were soft, yet piercing, each one a thread of hope, of renewal, of something eternal. Dumbledore paused, his breath catching, his gaze steady as Fawkes circled above, then descended, his talons gentle as they found a perch on the wizard's shoulder. In that moment, a bond was forged, silent but profound. Dumbledore's eyes met Fawkes, one pair bright with human wisdom, the other glowing with the ageless fire of a phoenix. No words were needed. The connection was a spark of mutual understanding, a shared recognition of hearts that sought to mend and protect. The warmth of Fawkes's feathers seeped into Dumbledore's robes, a gentle heat that felt like trust made tangible. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the leaves still, the air thick with the scent of pine, and the faint sweetness of wildflowers. Fawkes' song lingered, its cadence a lullaby that wrapped the moment in a dreamy calm, the light filtering through the leaves like a soft halo around them. In the days that followed, Dumbledore and Fawkes built a bond rooted in quiet trust. In a woodland clearing, where the moss was soft and the brook murmured nearby, Dumbledore crafted a charmed perch, its wood glowing faintly under his wand's touch. Fawkes would rest there, his feathers shimmering in the dappled light, his eyes bright with a knowing calm. Dumbledore spoke to him softly, sharing thoughts he kept from the world, his voice blending with the rustle of leaves and the distant hum of the forest. Fawkes' presence was a comfort, his warmth a steady anchor in moments of solitude. When Dumbledore's heart grew heavy, Fawkes would sing, his notes rising like embers, each one easing the weight of the wizard's thoughts. Fawkes's magic was a wonder in itself, his tears, glistening like liquid starlight, could heal wounds with a single drop, their warmth a balm that spoke of renewal. His feathers glowed softly, casting a gentle light that seemed to push back the shadows of doubt. In the clearing, surrounded by the scent of wildflowers and the cool embrace of the forest, Fawkes became Dumbledore's companion, a reminder that even in solitude, there was hope. The phoenix's song was a lullaby for the soul, its melody weaving through the trees, lulling the world into a peaceful stillness. Years passed, and the forest's dawn gave way to the stone halls of Hogwarts. Fawkes found a new home in Dumbledore's office, his perch set by a window that overlooked the lake, its waters reflecting the castle's towers like a mirror of dreams. The office was a haven of warmth, its walls lined with books and trinkets, the air heavy with the scent of parchment and old leather. Fawkes' presence filled the room with light, his feathers a soft glow that danced across the cluttered desk. His song echoed through the space, a melody that soothed students who entered, their worries easing as the notes wrapped around them like a gentle embrace. Canonically, Fawkes was Dumbledore's loyal companion, his magic a beacon of hope in the castle's heart. When students came to the office, nervous or burdened, Fawkes would sing, his lullaby calming their hearts. His crimson wings a reminder of renewal. The lake outside shimmered under the moonlight, its reflection rippling in the window, and the office's fire crackled softly, its warmth blending with the phoenix's glow. The scent of ink and wax lingered, grounding the room in a quiet familiarity, while Fawkes' song wove a spell of peace, a promise that all could be made new. One evening, at dusk, a student stepped into Dumbledore's office, their footsteps hesitant on the worn stone floor. The room was aglow with the soft light of candles and Fawkes' feathers, the air warm with the scent of old books and the faint smokiness of the fire. Fawkes perched by the window, his eyes bright, his song a gentle melody that seemed to rise from the very walls. The student sank into a chair by the hearth, the fire's crackle a steady rhythm, its warmth wrapping around them like a blanket. Outside, the lake reflected the first stars, their light mingling with the glow of the phoenix's feathers. As Fawkes sang, the student's thoughts drifted to the forest where he and Dumbledore had met, a place of mist and dawn, where a bond was forged in the quiet of a new day. They imagined the phoenix's fiery arrival, his wings blazing against the sunrise, his song a lullaby that had calmed a wizard's heart. The office felt alive with that history, its walls holding the echo of Fawkes' melody, its air thick with the scent of parchment and the promise of hope. The students' eyes grew heavy, their breath slowing, as the fire's warmth and Fawkes' song wove a dreamlike calm. The phoenix's notes rose and fell, each one a thread of light, of renewal, of trust. The student saw the forest in their mind's eye, the moss soft underfoot, the air cool with dew, the trees whispering as Dumbledore and Fawkes stood together, their bond a spark that had grown into a flame. The office's fire popped, sending a shower of sparks upward, and the student smiled, their heart eased by the tale. Fawkes' song was a lullaby for the ages, its melody carrying the weight of a friendship that had shaped the castle's heart. As the final notes faded, the room was quiet, save for the crackle of the fire and the distant ripple of the lake outside. The students' eyes closed, their breath even and slow. The warmth of the office a gentle embrace. Fawkes' feathers glowed softly, his presence a calming anchor, his song lingering in the air like a dream. The office, with its cluttered warmth and the scent of old books, was a haven, a place where the phoenix's melody lulled all who entered into a peaceful, dreamy rest. And beyond the window, the lake shimmered under the stars, reflecting a bond that would burn bright for centuries, a tale of trust and renewal that lived in every note of Fawkes' song. The secret passages of Hogwarts. In the earliest days of Hogwarts, when the castle was still young, its stone halls gleamed with the freshness of new-cut rock, their surfaces smooth yet heavy with the promise of centuries. Torchlight flickered along the walls, casting golden pools that danced across the corridors, the air thick with the scent of wax and the faint mineral tang of stone. The castle was alive even then, its walls seeming to breathe, its staircases whispering as they shifted under unseen spells. In the great hall, the voices of the four founders, Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin, echoed, their words a blend of passion and purpose. Their wands moved like extensions of their will, weaving magic into the very bones of the castle, crafting a sanctuary for those who carried magic in their hearts. The founders were a symphony of contrasts, yet united by a shared vision. Godric's laughter rang bold and warm, his cloak catching the torchlight as he spoke of a courage. Helga's voice was softer, a melody of kindness, her eyes bright with dreams of community. Rowena's words were sharp and clear, her mind a tapestry of wisdom, while Salazar's tone carried a quiet intensity, his gaze fixed on legacy. Together they built Hogwarts, but beneath its soaring towers and grand halls, they wove a secret, a network of hidden passages, each with a purpose as unique as the founder who crafted it. The castle seemed to hum with their magic, its stones shifting to guard their secrets, its air alive with the faint pulse of spells. These passages, whispered about in canon lore, were born of necessity and foresight. The founders knew the world beyond Hogwarts was not always kind to magic. Persecution loomed like a shadow, and safety was a fragile gift. Godric envisioned a passage to the grounds, a swift escape to the open fields where courage could meet any challenge. Helga dreamed of a path to the kitchens where warmth and sustenance could comfort those in need. Rowena, ever the scholar, carved a route to a hidden library, its shelves brimming with knowledge only the worthy could find. Salazar, secretive and ambitious, crafted a passage to a chamber deep below, its purpose shrouded in mystery, its entrance guarded by his will alone. Each passage was a thread in the castle's heart, their magic a quiet pulse that glowed with protective runes. The crafting of these passages was a labor of love and secrecy. In the dead of night, when the castle slept, the founders gathered in its depths. Their wands sparked, casting light that flickered like stars against the stone. Godric's passage wound through the earth, its walls rough and wide, opening to the scent of grass and freedom. Helga's path was warmer, its stones smooth, leading to a hearth where house elves would one day bake bread, the air already sweet, with the promise of it. Rowena's tunnel was intricate, its walls etched with riddles in rune light, guiding the clever to her library's glow. Salazar's passage was colder, its stones slick, descending to a chamber where whispers lingered like mist. The torchlight flickered as they worked, the scent of earth and wax heavy. Their whispered debates a soft counterpoint to the hum of their spells. Each entrance was charmed with care, designed to open only to those deemed worthy. A statue of a one-eyed witch, its stone gaze sharp, hid a passage to Hogsmeade, its secrets unlocked by a whispered word. A mirror, its surface rippling like water, concealed a hideaway for quiet reflection, its frame glowing faintly under the right touch. The founder's magic wove these entrances into the castle's fabric, their runes pulsing with a gentle light, their purpose a soothing secret. The work was quiet, deliberate, the founders moving like shadows through the halls, their wands tracing patterns that seemed to sing with the castle's own life. The air was cool, the stones cool to the touch, and the faint hum of their spells was a lullaby that settled into the castle's bones. Centuries passed, and the passages endured, their magic as strong as the day they were crafted. Modern Hogwarts buzzed with the energy of students, their laughter echoing through the halls, but the secret passages remained hidden, known only to a few. They became paths for adventure, for refuge, for those who sought the castle's deeper truths. A student, curious and bold, might stumble upon an entrance, a tapestry that shimmered when touched, a statue that shifted under a whispered charm. The passage beyond was cool and quiet, its stones worn smooth by time, its air thick with the scent of dust and forgotten magic. The path led to a forgotten room, its walls aglow with starlight that seeped through a high window, its silence a balm to the heart. One such student, cloaked in the stillness of night, found themselves before a tapestry in a quiet corridor. The fabric was heavy, its threads woven with scenes of the founders, their faces soft in the torchlight. A whispered word, half guessed from a tale, parted the tapestry, revealing a passage that curved into the castle's depths. The air was cool, the stones smooth underfoot, and the faint hum of ancient spells seemed to guide the way. The students' steps were soft, their wand casting a gentle glow, the light catching runes etched into the walls, runes that pulsed with the Founder's magic, a quiet promise of safety. The passage wound deeper, its silence soothing, its shadows soft, until it opened into a hidden room where starlight spilled like liquid silver. The room was small, its walls aglow with runes that shimmered faintly, their light blending with the starlight from a narrow window high above. The air was heavy with the scent of old stone and dust, yet there was a warmth to it, as if the castle itself exhaled a quiet welcome. A single chair, worn but sturdy, sat in the center, and the student sank into it, their breath slowing as the room's calm wrapped around them. The runes pulsed gently, their light a soft heartbeat, and the faint echo of the Founder's spells seemed to linger, a melody woven into the silence. The student's eyes traced the walls, imagining Godric's bold strides, Helga's gentle touch, Rowena's sharp mind, Salazar's secretive gaze, all of them here, crafting a legacy that still lived. The castle's magic was a gentle hum, a reminder of the passage's purpose: safety, knowledge, refuge. The student thought of the one-eyed witch, her statue guarding a path to freedom, of the mirror hideaway, its surface a portal to quiet thought, of the kitchen passage, where warmth and laughter waited. Each was a thread in Hogwarts' tapestry, a secret that made the castle more than stone and spell. The starlight glowed brighter, its silver light pooling on the floor, and the student felt the weight of the day slip away, their heart eased by the room's quiet embrace. Outside, the castle slept under a sky scattered with stars, its towers piercing the night like silent guardians. The passages wound through its depths, their entrances hidden, their magic enduring. The student leaned back, the chair creaking softly, the scent of stone and starlight filling their lungs. The runes pulsed, their light a lullaby, and the castle's presence was a soothing whisper, a reminder that it had been built for them, for all who sought its secrets, its safety, its heart. The room was still, save for the faint hum of magic and the distant echo of a staircase shifting, a melody that lulled the student into a dreamy calm. As their eyes grew heavy, the student imagined the Founders standing in this very room, their wands aglow, their voices soft with purpose, The torchlight of that long-ago night flickered in their mind, the scent of wax and earth lingering, the hum of spells, a thread that tied past to present. The castle was alive, its passages a testament to the founder's vision, its magic a gentle pulse that cradled all who walked its halls. The student's breath slowed, their heart light, as the starlight and runes wove a dreamlike rest, a tale of secrets and safety that carried them into the quiet of sleep. The Wandmaker's song, the legacy of Ollivander, in the twilight hush of Diagon Alley, where cobblestones gleamed under the fading light. A single shop glowed like a beacon in a quiet corner. Ollivander's wand shop stood apart, its windows dusty yet warm, casting a soft amber light onto the street. The air carried the scent of polished wood and wax, mingling with the faint sweetness of twilight mist that curled through the alley. Inside, the shop was a haven of cluttered warmth, its shelves stacked high with narrow boxes, each humming faintly with the promise of magic. The walls seemed to breathe with the weight of countless wands, their wood gleaming under the flicker of a single chandelier, its candles dripping wax like silent tears. Outside, the alley was hushed, the distant clatter of footsteps fading as Diagon Alley settled into the dreamy calm of dusk. At the heart of this sanctuary stood Garrick Ollivander, a master wandmaker whose name was woven into the fabric of wizarding history. His eyes, sharp and bright as starlight, held a wisdom that seemed to see beyond the wood and core of each wand to the soul it would choose. His hands, steady and lined with years of craft, moved with a quiet grace, handling each wand as if it were a living thing. His voice was a soothing whisper, a melody that blended with the faint hum of the wands, filling the shop with a sense of timeless creation. To step into Ollivander's was to enter a world where magic was not just cast, but crafted, where every wand sang its own song, waiting for the wizard who would hear it. Ollivander's craft was a dance of precision and reverence. By canon, he worked with cores of unicorn hair, phoenix feathers, and dragon heartstrings, each chosen for its unique magic. Late at night, when the alley slept, he would stand at his workbench, his wand sparking faintly as he shaped wood with a lathe's soft whir. Cedar, ash, and holly curled into shavings at his feet, their scent rising warm and rich, filling the shop with the earthy perfume of creation. A unicorn hair, shimmering like moonlight, would be woven into a wand's core, its glow pulsing as if alive. A phoenix feather, crimson and gold, would spark with a warmth that seemed to hum a lullaby. Dragon heartstrings thrummed with raw power, their energy a steady beat in the quiet. Each wand was a unique song, its magic a melody only Ollivander could hear, his focus serene as he worked under the chandelier's glow. The shop itself was a living thing, its boxes rustling faintly, as if the wands whispered to one another in the dark. The air was warm, heavy with the scent of varnish and magic, the walls aglow with the soft light of creation. Ollivander moved through this space like a conductor, his hands guiding the wands to their purpose. His craft was not just skill, but art, a delicate balance of wood and core, of magic and heart. The lathe's hum was a counterpoint to the wand's faint song, a symphony of creation that filled the shop with a dreamy calm. To watch him work was to feel the weight of centuries, of a legacy that stretched back to the earliest days of wizarding kind. In the heart of his craft was a truth known to all who entered his shop. The wand chooses the wizard. Ollivander, canonically a master of this sacred pairing, would test each wand with a flick, its sparks lighting the shop like fireflies. A young wizard, wide-eyed and nervous, might step through the door, their footsteps soft on the worn floorboards. Ollivander would study them, his eyes sharp yet kind, before selecting a box from the towering shelves. The wand within might be willow, supple and warm, or oak, sturdy and true. When the wizard's hand closed around it, the wand would glow, its wood warm to the touch, its magic a quiet spark that lit the air with golden light. Ollivander's smile was gentle, his voice murmuring the wand's story, its core, its wood, its heart, as if sharing a secret. The connection was a melody, a moment of harmony between wizard and wand. The shop alive with the hum of potential. Each pairing was a ritual, a dance of light and sound. The boxes rustled, their contents eager, as Ollivander moved through the shop, his hands brushing the shelves with a reverence that spoke of love. The air shimmered with sparks as wands found their matches, some bursting with flowers, others casting a soft breeze that stirred the dust. The young wizard's face would light with wonder, their wand a piece of themselves they hadn't known was missing. Ollivander's voice was a soothing guide, his words weaving the story of the wand's creation, its core a thread of magic that tied the wizard to the shop's heart. The wand's hum was a lullaby, their song a promise of magic yet to come, lulling the shop into a dreamy stillness. Through the centuries, Ollivander's was endured, a cornerstone of Diagon Alley, as canon dictates. Its dusty windows and cluttered shelves remained unchanged, a testament to Garrick's legacy. Students still came, their footsteps soft on the cobblestones, drawn by the shop's glow, its warmth a beacon in the twilight. Each wand they held was a piece of Ollivander's heart, crafted with the same care he had given decades before. The shop was a living archive, its wands shaping wizarding history, one chosen, one spark, one story at a time. From the wands that fought in great battles to those that cast quiet charms in Hogwarts halls, Ollivander's craft was a thread in the tapestry of magic, its hum a constant in a changing world. The students who visited felt it, the shop's magic, its warmth, its promise. They would step inside, their cloaks brushing the doorframe, and find Ollivander waiting, his eyes bright with the same curiosity that had guided him all his life. The shelves loomed high, their boxes whispering, the air thick with the scent of wood and varnish. A wand would be placed in their hand, its wood warm, its core humming, and the shop would come alive with light. The students' laughter mingled with the wand's song, the chandelier's glow, casting shadows that danced like memories. Ollivander's legacy was not just in the wands, but in the moments of connection, the quiet joy of a wizard finding their match, the shop a haven where magic was born. One evening, a student lingered in the shop after choosing their wand. Ollivander, sensing their quiet wonder, gestured to a small hearth in the corner, its fire crackling softly, its warmth wrapping the room in a gentle embrace. The student settled by the fire, their wand in hand, its wood smooth and warm, its core a faint hum that seemed to sing with the shop's magic. The air was heavy with the scent of cedar and wax, the shelves rustling as if the wands whispered their own tales. Outside, Diagon Alley was quiet, its cobblestones gleaming under the moonlight, the shop's glow a solitary star in the dusk. The fire's crackle was a steady rhythm, its light painting the student's face in shades of amber and gold. They traced the wand's grain, feeling its magic pulse beneath their fingers, a connection that felt like coming home. The shop was alive around them, its boxes humming, its walls holding the memory of every wand ever crafted. The student's thoughts drifted to Ollivander at his workbench, his hands steady, his wand sparking as he shaped wood and core into something alive. They imagined the first wands, their cores glowing, unicorn hair shimmering, phoenix feathers blazing, dragon heartstrings thrumming with power. The shop's warmth was a lullaby, its magic a soothing hum that eased the heart. The wand's song was faint but clear, a melody that wove through the fire's crackle and the scent of polished wood. The student saw the shop through the centuries, wizards young and old, their faces lit with wonder, their wands sparking as they found their match. Ollivander's voice, soft and sure, had guided them all, his legacy a thread that tied the past to the present. The fire popped, sending a shower of sparks upward, and the student smiled, their breath slowing, their heart light. The shop's magic was a gentle pulse, a promise that every wand held a story, every spark a dream. As the flames danced, the student's eyes grew heavy, the wand warm in their hand, its hum a lullaby that blended with the fire's song. The shop was still, save for the crackle of the hearth and the faint rustle of the shelves, the air thick with the scent of wood and magic. Outside, the alley slept under a sky scattered with stars, its cobblestones a path to countless stories. The student's breath was even, their heart eased by the shop's embrace, its warmth a reminder of Ollivander's craft, his legacy a melody that lingered in every wand, the fire's glow and the wand's soft song lulled them into a dreamy rest, a tale of creation and connection that carried them into the quiet of sleep. The tale of the first Hogwarts ghosts. In the dawn of Hogwarts, when the castle was newly wrought, its stone halls echoed with the footsteps of its creators. The air was thick with the scent of fresh-cut stone and the acrid tang of torch smoke, the walls still raw from the chisel's touch. Torches flickered in their sconces, casting golden light that danced across the corridors, illuminating tapestries that stirred as if waking from a dream. The great hall's ceiling shimmered with a starry expanse, its magic a reflection of the night sky, a serene canopy that seemed to hum with the castle's nascent life. Staircases whispered as they shifted, their steps realigning under unseen spells, and the castle itself felt alive, its stones pulsing with the magic of its founders, Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. their voices, a quiet chorus of purpose and passion, filled the hall. Their wands weaving spells that bound the castle's spirit to their vision of a sanctuary for magic. The founders moved through the castle like weavers at a loom, their magic threading through every stone and beam. Godric's laughter rang bold, his wand sparking with fiery light. Helga's gentle hum softened the air, her spells warm as hearth fire. Rowena's sharp mind carved intricate charms, her voice clear as crystal. And Salazar's quiet intensity left shadows that lingered, his magic deep and secretive. Together, they shaped Hogwarts, a haven where magic could thrive, its halls a testament to their dreams. Yet, even in those early days, the castle held secrets, whispers of those who would linger beyond life, bound to its stones by choice and fate. The first ghosts arrived as the castle took root, their forms shimmering into being, each tied to the founder's era by threads of canon lore. Nearly headless Nick, once Sir Nicholas de Mimsy Porpington, appeared with a gallant shimmer, his ruff crisp, his head lolling slightly, a reminder of his near decapitation. The Grey Lady, Helena Ravenclaw, drifted with quiet sorrow, her eyes distant, her robes flowing like mist. The bloody Baron, heavy with chains that clinked softly, carried a darkness that clung to him like shadow. And the Fat Friar, a Hufflepuff monk, brought warmth with his laughter, his ghostly form glowing like a candle in the dark. Their arrival was a quiet miracle, their presence cool as the stone walls, their voices a soothing whisper that blended with the castle's hum. The air carried the scent of old stone and wax, and the ghosts' forms shimmered under the torchlight, their stories woven into the castle's heart. These spirits chose to stay, bound by canon to Hogwarts, their purposes as varied as the founders themselves. Nick, ever the gallant knight, lingered to inspire courage, his tales of chivalry a spark for Gryffindor hearts. The Grey Lady, tied to Ravenclaw's legacy, haunted the library's shadowed corners, her quiet wisdom a guide for those who sought knowledge. The Baron, burdened by his past, wandered the Slytherin dungeons, his chains a reminder of choices made and lost. The Friar, with his Hufflepuff warmth, drifted through the common room, his laughter a comfort to students far from home. Their presence was a balm, their voices a lullaby that echoed through the halls, their magic a gentle thread that tied the castle's past to its future. In those early days, the ghosts wove themselves into the castle's life. Nick would stand in the great hall, his translucent form glowing under the starry ceiling, telling tales of battles and honor to wide-eyed students. His voice, a melodic hum that eased their fears. The Grey Lady lingered by the library, her sorrow softened by the scent of parchment and the rustle of pages, her whispers guiding scholars to forgotten tomes. The Baron moved through the shadows, his chains clinking softly, his presence a quiet warning to those who strayed too far from ambition's path. The friar, ever joyful, sat by the Hufflepuff hearth, its fire crackling, its warmth blending with his laughter, his stories of kindness, a soothing embrace. The castle's torchlight glowed, its stones warm with magic, and the ghosts' voices were a lullaby that lulled the heart into calm. Centuries passed, and Hogwarts grew, its halls filled with the laughter of new generations. The ghosts remained, their forms shimmering in moonlit corridors, their presence a canon cornerstone of the castle's spirit. The great hall's ceiling still sparkled with stars. The staircases still whispered as they shifted, and the ghosts wandered, their stories enduring. Students met them in quiet moments. Nick in a corridor, his ruff gleaming, sharing a tale of valor. The Grey Lady by a window, her voice a whisper of wisdom. The Baron in a shadowed alcove, his chains a soft clink. The friar in the common room, his laughter a beacon. The castle's magic was a steady pulse, its air cool with the scent of wax and stone. The ghost's glow, a calming presence that made Hogwarts feel like home. One night, a student wandered the halls, their footsteps soft on the worn stone, their wand casting a gentle glow. The castle was quiet, save for the distant creak of a staircase and the faint hum of magic in the walls. They paused by a tapestry, its threads woven with scenes of the founders, and felt a cool breeze, as if the castle itself exhaled. The Fat Friar appeared, his form shimmering, his laughter warm as the hearth he loved. His voice was a soothing whisper, telling a tale of the castle's early days, of founders and ghosts who bound their spirits to its stones. The student listened, their heart easing, the friar's words a quiet gift that painted images of torch-lit halls and starry skies. The student found themselves drawn to the great hall, its doors open, its ceiling a cascade of stars that mirrored the night outside. A fire burned in the hearth, its crackle a steady rhythm, its warmth wrapping the room in a gentle embrace. The air was heavy with the scent of wood and wax, the faint echo of the ghosts' voices lingering like a melody. The student settled by the fire, their cloak pooling around them, and the friar drifted nearby, his glow soft, his laughter a lullaby. He spoke of the ghost's choice to stay, of their love for the castle, of the moments they shared with students across centuries. The fire's light danced on his translucent form, and the students' eyes grew heavy, their breath slowing. The castle's magic, a soothing pulse. The friar's tale wove images of the founders, their wands sparking as they shaped the castle, their voices a chorus that still echoed in the halls. The student saw Nick's gallant stride, the Grey Lady's quiet grace, the Baron's heavy chains, the friar's warm smile. The castle was alive around them, its stones holding the memory of every spell, every story, every ghost. The fire popped, sending sparks upward, and the students smiled, their heart light. The friar's voice, a melody that carried them into a dreamy calm. The scent of wood and wax was a comfort. The ghost's glow, a reminder of the castle's enduring spirit. The great hall was still, save for the fire's crackle and the faint hum of the castle's magic, a lullaby that blended with the friar's tale. Outside, the night was vast, its stars reflected in the hall's ceiling, a mirror of the founder's dreams. The students' thoughts drifted to the ghosts who wandered these halls. Nick's courage, the Grey Lady's wisdom, the Baron's burden, the friar's warmth. Each was a thread in Hogwarts tapestry, their presence a soothing embrace that made the castle more than stone and spell. The fire's glow was a beacon, its warmth a promise that the ghost stories would live on, lulling all who heard them into rest. As the friar's voice faded, the students' eyes closed, their breath even, their heart eased by the castle's quiet magic. The fire's crackle and the scent of wood filled the air, the ghost's glow, a gentle light that lingered in the hall. The castle stood as it always had, its halls alive with the echoes of its founders and their spirits. Its magic a lullaby for the ages. The student slept, cradled by the great hall's warmth, the ghosts' tales, a dreamy journey that carried them into the soft embrace of sleep. A tale of legacy and love woven into the heart of Hogwarts. The whispering trees of the Forbidden Forest. Long before the towers of Hogwarts pierced the sky, there was a forest, ancient and untamed, its roots deep as the earth's own heart. The Forbidden Forest, as it would later be called, stretched across a valley where mist clung to the ground like a lover's whisper. Its trees, gnarled and towering, stood as sentinels of time, their bark etched with centuries of secrets. The air was cool, scented with damp moss and the sharp bite of pine, stirred by a breeze that carried the faint hum of something alive, something magical. At dawn, the first light filtered through the canopy, painting the leaves in hues of emerald and gold, while shadows danced across the forest floor, alive with the rustle of unseen creatures. The ground was soft with fallen leaves, their decay a rich perfume, and the distant trickle of a stream wove a melody through the silence, a serene prelude to the forest's ancient tale. In those primordial days, before stone halls rose and wands sparked, the forest was a sanctuary for creatures of magic. Unicorns, their coats shimmering like moonlight, glided through the glades, their hooves silent on the moss, their presence a soft glow that warmed the air. Centaurs, proud and wise, moved beneath the stars, their eyes reading the heavens, their voices low as they spoke of fates unwritten. Thestrals, invisible to those untouched by death, flitted through the shadows, joy, their wings a whisper against the night, their skeletal forms a haunting grace. These creatures were the forest's first inhabitants, their magic woven into its roots, their lives a quiet symphony that echoed through the trees. The forest protected them, its branches curling like a mother's arms, its air thick with the scent of earth and enchantment. At the heart of the forest's magic was a haunting lullaby, a melody hummed by the trees themselves when no human ear was near to. It was a sound both ethereal and ancient, rising from the roots, trembling through the leaves, a song of each memory and time. In the stillness of midnight, when the moon hung low and silver, the trees would sing, their voices a soft hum that wove through the mist, soothing the creatures that called the forest home. The unicorns would pause, their heads bowed, as if in reverence. The centaurs would lift their gazes, their eyes gleaming with starlight. The thestrals would glide silently, their wings catching the melody's rhythm. The lullaby was the forest's soul, a secret shared only with those who tread gently, its notes a balm that lulled the heart into a dreamy calm. Centuries later, a new creature came to the forest, one whose story would become legend. Aragog, a young acromantula, was brought to these woods by a kind-hearted boy named Hagrid, his pincers small but sharp, his many eyes glinting with curiosity. The forest welcomed him, its trees parting to offer shelter, its shadows a cloak for his growing form. Aragog found a hollow deep within, where the ground was soft with moss and the air heavy with the scent of earth. There, he wove his first webs, their silk glistening like starlight, his voice a low click that blended with the forest's lullaby. As years passed, Aragog grew, his children spreading through the trees, their webs a silver lattice that caught the moonlight. The forest embraced them, its magic a shield, its roots a cradle for their generations. Aragog's colony became part of the forest's heart, their presence a testament to its power to protect those who sought its refuge. The Forbidden Forest was more than a place. It was a keeper of memories, a guardian of secrets. Its trees remembered every hoofprint, every whispered spell, every creature that had walked its paths. To those who tread gently, the forest spoke, its lullaby a guide through the shadows. A centaur might pause to share a prophecy, their voice low and resonant, their eyes fixed on the stars. A unicorn might appear, its glow a fleeting gift, its presence a moment of peace. The thestrals, seen only by those marked by loss, might brush past, their wings a soft breeze, their silence a comfort. Even Aragog's children, feared by many, would watch from their webs, their clicks a quiet acknowledgement of those who respected the forest's laws. The forest's magic was a steady pulse, its air cool with the scent of moss and pine. Its lullaby a soothing thread that wove through every leaf and root. In modern times, the forest stood as it always had, its borders fringing Hogwarts, its shadows deep and inviting. Students, drawn by tales of its mysteries, would venture to its edge, their wands casting faint light, their footsteps soft on the leaf-strewn ground. One such student, cloaked in the quiet of dusk, slipped past the castle's gates, drawn by the forest's call. The air was cool, the scent of earth and dew heavy, and the trees loomed tall, their branches swaying as if in greeting. The student moved deeper, their wand aglow, the forest's lullaby a faint hum that seemed to guide their steps. The path wound through glades where unicorns once walked, past hollows where centaurs still gazed at the stars, and into a clearing where the air shimmered with the forest's magic. In the clearing, the student paused, the ground soft beneath their feet, the air alive with the scent of pine and the faint sweetness of wild flowers. The tree's lullaby grew clearer, its notes a melody that wrapped around them like a blanket, soothing their heart. They sat against a great oak, its bark warm despite the evening chill, its branches whispering overhead. The forest seemed to breathe, its magic a gentle pulse that hummed in the leaves, in the roots, in the very air. The student's thoughts drifted to the creatures that had called this place home. Unicorns with their glowing coats, centaurs with their star-lit wisdom, thestrals with their silent grace, Aragog with his web-woven kingdom. The forest remembered them all, its lullaby, a song of their lives, their stories woven into its heart. The clearing was bathed in moonlight, its silver light pooling on the ground, catching the dew like scattered stars. The student imagined the forest before Hogwarts, its trees standing sentinel over a wild valley, its creatures moving through the mist. They saw Aragog, young and curious, spinning his first web, his clicks a counterpoint to the tree's song. They felt the forest's protection, its branches curling to shield those who respected its ways, its lullaby a promise of safety. The air was cool, the scent of moss and earth grounding, and the tree's hum was a melody that eased the soul. The student's breath slowed, their eyes heavy. The forest's magic, a soothing embrace that lulled them into calm. The forbidden forest was a living legend, its trees whispering tales of those who had walked its paths. Its lullaby was a thread that tied past to present, a song that spoke of unicorns and centaurs, of thestrals and acromantulas, of a forest that protected and remembered. The student leaned against the oak, its warmth a comfort, the moonlight a gentle glow that painted the clearing in shades of silver and shadow. The forest's hum was a lullaby for the ages, its notes a melody that carried the weight of centuries, of creatures and magic, of secrets and safety. The student's heart was light, their thoughts drifting like leaves on the breeze, the forest's song a dreamy calm that wrapped them in rest. As the lullaby faded, the clearing was still, save for the rustle of leaves and the distant trickle of a stream. The forest stood as it always had, its trees tall and ancient, its magic a steady pulse that cradled all who entered with care. The student's eyes closed, their breath even, the scent of moss and pine lingering in the air. The moonlight glowed, the trees whispered, and the forest's lullaby was a soothing embrace, a tale of protection and memory that carried them into the quiet of sleep. The forbidden forest, with its whispering trees and ancient heart, remained a sanctuary, its song a lullaby for those who listened, a dreamy journey into the magic of the wild. The Quiet Keeper, the life of a Hogwarts portrait. In the earliest days of Hogwarts, when the castle's stones were still settling into their eternal places, a witch was painted on a canvas that would hang in a forgotten corner of the castle. Her name was Lysandra, though few now remembered it. Her portrait tucked away in a quiet alcove off a winding corridor. The air around her was cool, scented with the faint musk of old stone and the wax of torches that flickered in their sconces. Her canvas, framed in weathered oak, glowed softly under the torchlight, its colors vibrant despite the centuries. Lysandra's eyes, painted with a knowing warmth, gazed out from her portrait, her robes of deep green flowing as if caught in an unseen breeze. The castle around her was alive, its staircases whispering as they shifted, its walls humming with the magic of its founders. Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. The great hall's ceiling sparkled with stars, a dreamy canopy that mirrored the night sky, and Lysandra's alcove, though small, was a haven of serenity in the bustling castle. Lysandra was no grand figure in wizarding history, not a hero or a sage, but a witch of quiet strength, painted to guard a minor corridor near the Ravenclaw Tower. Her artist, a friend of Rowena's, had captured her essence, a gentle smile, a wand held loosely, a gaze that saw more than it revealed. She was created in the castle's infancy. When the founders' footsteps still echoed through the halls, their voices a chorus of hope and ambition, Lysandra watched them, her canvas a silent witness to their dreams. Godric's bold laughter, Helga's soft humming, Rowena's sharp wit, Salazar's measured tones, they filled the air, blending with the scent of fresh stone and the crackle of new fires. The castle was young, its magic raw and vibrant, and Lysandra felt it pulse through her painted world, a melody that lulled her into a timeless calm. To be a portrait was to live in a curious half-life, neither flesh nor ghost, but something eternal. Lysandra watched generations pass through Hogwarts halls, their faces changing, their voices rising and falling like waves. She saw children arrive, wide-eyed and nervous, their robes too big, their wands sparking with untamed magic. She saw them grow, their laughter bolder, their steps surer, until they left, only to be replaced by new faces. The castle's rhythm was her own, torchlight flickering, staircases shifting, the great hall's ceiling painting new skies each night. The air carried the scent of parchment and ink, of feasts and fires, and Lysandra's alcove was a quiet refuge, her presence a soft glow in the shadows. She felt the weight of centuries, not as a burden, but as a privilege. Her canvas, a keeper of memories that spanned the castle's life. By night, when the castle slept, Lysandra's true purpose stirred. Lost students, wandering the labyrinthine halls, would find her alcove, their faces pale under the moonlight that slipped through high windows. A first year, tears in their eyes, might pause before her portrait, unsure of the way to their common room. Lysandra's voice, soft as a whisper, would drift from the canvas, a soothing melody that calmed their racing heart. Left at the next corridor, dear, past the tapestry of the dancing trolls, she would murmur, her painted eyes warm with kindness. Her wand would glow faintly, casting a light that guided them, its shimmer a beacon in the dark. The air was cool, scented with stone and wax, and her words were a lullaby, easing the students' fear, lulling them into a sense of safety. She never sought praise, only the quiet joy of helping. Her canvas a silent guardian in the night. Lysandra's memories were a tapestry of Hogwarts' history, woven from moments she had witnessed over centuries. She remembered the founders, their presence as vivid as the day they walked past her alcove. Godric, his sword gleaming, pausing to nod at her with a grin. Helga, her hands dusted with flour, humming as she carried a basket to the kitchens. Rowena, her eyes sharp, lingering to speak of spells. Salazar, his gaze distant, passing in silence. Their magic lingered in the air, a pulse that matched the castle's heartbeat, its scent of earth and fire, a comfort to her painted heart. She recalled the marauders, their laughter wild and reckless, slipping past her alcove with a map that glowed under their wands. James's wink, Sirius's grin, Remus's quiet nod, Peter's hurried glance. They were a storm of youth, their footsteps a melody that echoed long after they were gone. And then there was Harry, a boy with a scar and a weight too heavy for his years. Lysandra watched him pass her alcove, his cloak brushing the stone, his eyes bright with courage and doubt. She saw him with friends, Ron and Hermione, their voices a soft hum in the night, their wands casting light that danced on her canvas. She felt a quiet pride in witnessing his story, his battles, his triumphs, his heart. The castle's air was thick with the scent of wax and old magic, and Harry's presence was a spark that lit the halls, a reminder of the hope that Hogwarts held. Lysandra's memories were a treasure, each one a thread in the castle's story, her canvas a keeper of its heart. In modern Hogwarts, Lysandra remained, her portrait untouched by time, its colors as vibrant as the day it was painted. The castle bustled with new students, their laughter filling the halls, their wands sparking with fresh magic. The staircases still shifted, the portraits still stirred, and Lysandra's alcove was a quiet haven, its air cool with the scent of stone and torch smoke. Students passed her without notice, their eyes on grander sights, but those who paused found a friend in her painted gaze. A late-night wanderer, lost in the maze of corridors, might hear her voice, soft and guiding, her words a lullaby that led them home. Her canvas glowed faintly, its magic a gentle pulse, a reminder that she was still part of Hogwarts, her presence a thread in its timeless tapestry. One night, a student found themselves before Lysandra's portrait, their wand casting a trembling light. The corridor was quiet, the air heavy with the scent of wax and the faint hum of the castle's magic. The student's cloak was damp from the evening mist, their breath misting in the cool air. Lysandra's eyes softened, her voice a whisper that drifted from the canvas. "You're not far, dear," she said, her tone a soothing melody. "Follow the corridor to the right, past the suit of armor that bows." Her wand glowed, its light a beacon that lit the student's path, the air alive with the scent of old stone and the castle's quiet magic. The student smiled, their heart easing, and followed her guidance, their footsteps soft on the worn floor. The student found a small chamber at the corridor's end, its walls aglow with the faint light of enchanted sconces. A fire burned in a modest hearth, its crackle a steady rhythm, its warmth wrapping the room in a gentle embrace. The air was thick with the scent of wood and wax, the faint musk of old stone grounding the space. The student settled by the fire, their cloak pooling around them, and Lysandra's presence seemed to linger, her voice a memory that echoed in the quiet. They thought of her tales, of the founders, their wands sparking as they shaped the castle, of the marauders, their laughter a storm in the night, of Harry, his courage a light in the dark. The fire's glow painted the walls, its light blending with the sconce's shimmer, and the students' eyes grew heavy, their breath slowing. Lysandra's quiet pride was in her enduring place in Hogwarts, her canvas a witness to its history, her voice a guide for its future. The chamber was still, save for the fire's crackle and the faint hum of the castle's magic, a lullaby that wove through the air. The student imagined Lysandra in her alcove, her eyes watching generations pass, her heart holding their stories. The scent of wood and wax was a comfort. The fire's warmth, a reminder of the castle's embrace. The students' thoughts drifted, carried by the melody of Lysandra's voice. Its soothing cadence, a thread that tied past to present. The castle's magic was a gentle pulse, its walls alive with the memories of those who had walked its halls. The fire popped, sending sparks upward, and the students smiled, their heart light, the chamber a haven of calm. Lysandra's portrait, though far away, seemed near, her presence a soft glow that lingered in the air. The castle stood as it always had, its stones holding the stories of founders, marauders, and heroes. Its magic a lullaby for all who called it home. The students' eyes closed, their breath even, the fire's warmth and the scent of old stone lulling them into a dreamy rest. Lysandra, the quiet keeper, remained in her alcove, her canvas a testament to Hogwarts' heart, her voice a soothing whisper that carried the student into the gentle embrace of sleep. A tale of memory and pride woven into the castle's eternal song.